everyone, what is up, you guys? I did a special tarot reading earlier this morning, and I haven't posted it up yet, but it was a Friday the 13th reading. I'm gonna do another one. This one is going to answer a few questions. I'm not gonna take too long on this, but or actually, I don't know, because sometimes the universe wants me to spill it out. So, yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. It is Friday the 13th, May 13th, literally a month after my birthday. So, I just wanted to wish you guys a happy birthday if your birthday is today. I want you guys to know that 13 is not a bad number, and it's not a bad luck number. It only got that connotation or that stigma attached to it because of, Christianity. And so Christianity had a huge part in westernized culture, even in easternized culture too, but in a lot of Western cultures. So it got a bad rap because I think 13 people were sitting on the Last Supper, and one of them betrayed Jesus, which was Judas. There is a book of Judas. I do believe that, and it was never put in the Bible. There was even a book of Jesus that was not put in the Bible. So there's different things. I do believe that the Bible is true, which is, I'm going to get into this. This was one of the questions, is are you allowed to be Christian and psychic at the same time? But I grew up Christian, and I went to Catholic school while going to a Baptist church. It was intense. It was the polar opposite. It was same religion, same organized religion, but it was two different ways of worshiping God. But yes, I do essentially believe that that Jesus was the Son of God. I do believe that he died on the cross and that he rose again on the third day. I do believe that Jesus had healing powers, and so did his disciples. I believe that the Bible is true. That's just my personal opinion. But I don't denounce other religions because they're also here for a reason. All faiths are here for different reasons, right? And different cultures and different lifestyles and different people, right? If we all believe the same thing, then it would be like such a boring world, right? And we did live in such a boring world for a long time, So, with that being said, 13 is not a bad number. 13 is actually a feminine number. 13 in the tarot deck, is a major arcana card. It's the death card. And you might think that death, oh crap, that's such a negative connotation. But it actually really means to let go of your old self and to kind of move into your spiritual self. To let go of your ego. I know in the Bible Jesus talks about that, like to let go of your former self and to take on a more spiritual self. So interesting stuff. I am not a scholar. I am not a theologian. I base my life on things that have happened to me, I base my life on experience, basically. I work my life in a sense where this has happened to me before, so it can definitely happen to me again. This has happened to me years ago. It can definitely happen again. I am I'm also very pragmatic when it comes to certain ideals. So I'm not going to read the tarot cards and be like, you're going to find your soulmate next week and you're going to get married within 2 months. Like, I'm just not going to do that at all. Like, that's just sugarcoating it. But if I do feel like the presence or an energy of someone, I can definitely do that. And I have spoken to people and connected with people who have passed on. In fact, I continuously connect with people who have passed on. And so, which leads me to my second question, which is, what is it like to be psychic, right? So, my first question was, is it okay to be Christian and have psychic abilities? And the second question is, what is it like to be psychic? This might be a little bit long, you guys. I know I was going to say it was going to be short, but I'll try to keep it as condensed as I can. So let's get started. Alright, you guys. I wanted to show you, I've shown this stone before. Excuse me. And this is a black moonstone. It's a heart. I have manifested money with this, abundance with this, a guy that I was extremely in love with this. So yes, you can manifest things, and these are people that they just come into your life surprisingly, right? Like out of the blue. Sorry guys, I have a little bit of a sniffle. It's like the allergies right now is like crazy. Black moonstone. And I want you guys to work with cinnamon. This is cinnamon leaf oil. This has attracted me abundance. I've taken baths with this, so I'll put salt in my bath and I'll put a few drops of this and I'll meditate, and it's really good with attracting and manifesting abundance, money. I did attract $2,000 this week out of the blue. It's not a loan, it's not nothing like that. It's just two grand was zelled into my account. So cinnamon leaf. And just kind of meditate, you guys. Just keep meditating, keep focusing. You have to believe, have faith and believe. Jim Carrey has often said he talks a lot about manifestations and he believes in it. Like, he wrote himself a check. He wrote himself a check for, I think, like $5 million or $10 million. And it just kept, this was the time where he wasn't even famous yet. And it just kept deteriorating and deteriorating. That check was just stuck in his wallet. And then 5 years later, after he wrote that check, he literally got a $10 million check for the movie Dumber and Dumber. So things manifest, even though it might take time, it might take work, effort, inspired action. Um, manifestations do happen. So be careful with what you wish for. Okay, my first question was, is it okay to be Christian and be psychic? Yes, it is. That's the short answer. I'm going to do a little reading on that. I will tell you, I'll be the first ones to tell you that a lot of people who go to church are psychics. Like, they have abilities. Most of us have abilities, but we just don't, trust on the other end of the day. And totality, yeah. It's more on telling you to have more faith in your abilities. I think that a lot of people go to church with abilities and they don't know it. They can't hone into that skill. And that's a skill that, not many people have. Well, a lot of people have it. They just don't know that they have it. But a lot of people have become successful because of that. Sorrow came out. I think a lot of people are confused between like witchcraft, courage, witchcraft, having psychic abilities. Having psychic abilities does not mean stress came out. And so did moment to moment. I want you guys to know that it's okay to meditate. It's okay to pray to Jesus, even if you feel like you do have powers, control. Thunderbolt. And traveling. On the bottom of the deck, you got rebirth. And the lovers. Oh my gosh, the lovers. And guidance, yeah. There are ways to use your skills for good. I'm not saying witch, because when it comes to witchcraft, which I have done witchcraft also, but when it comes to witchcraft, that's more pagan. That's a whole different belief system. But to actually just be psychic is, anyone can have a psychic ability and not know, right? So I want you guys to know that some of you guys are being guided and led to put your abilities in the forefront. Some of you would be very successful if you just kind of listen to your intuition a little bit more. I know it's difficult when religions, and any religion, doesn't have to just be Christianity, Islam, even Buddhism to an extent. If things become critical, if things are critical, if you have courage, if things become a little too controlling, have courage to find your own path. Some of you here have a life path where you will figure out. Some of you guys who are watching this could be teenagers, high school, maybe college, early 20s, who are watching this and have abilities, and you may have, like, all your life thought that, this was not, Yeah, you just don't know what this was. Maybe you've been seeing apparitions, maybe you've seen visions, maybe you have seen um, certain things that you couldn't explain. I want you to know that that's part of your journey. It's okay. I went through the same thing. I want you guys to know that I went through the same thing. It's part of your journey, traveling and rebirth. Some of you graduated college, just graduated college successfully. Successfully. Like maybe with a really high 3.9 GPA, 3.8, 3.9, 4.0 GPA, and you don't know how you did it, right? But you were successful at it. That's a kind of psychic ability. There are people who get straight A's in school and don't even try. It's happened. For me, when I was in college, even on the SATs, I didn't do that great on the SATs, but in high school and in college, I would get the answer right. Have you ever gotten the answer right, but you don't know how to formulate the question? Especially for math problems and things like that, but you know the answer is right. And you trust your intuition. That's a psychic ability. Give me one more card. Some of you are going to law enforcement. Some of you are going into the military. Some of you are going into like nursing programs, medical school, something with healing and something with surveillancing the community, like helping the community. In a sense. Yeah, you guys are just starting out. I'm feeling that strongly. So if you guys, I will say this, if there is one or two things that I regret in life, and I don't really believe in regrets. I feel like regrets could have, would have, should have, if something didn't work out with someone, if something, your friendship fall apart, break up, whatever. I want you to know that everything happens for a reason, and everything has its own purpose and its own timing. But if there's one thing that I do regret, it would be that I didn't listen to my intuition sooner. I won't say that you're always going to be right, but in many ways, you are going to be right. So it's like, you're not going to be right all the time. I would probably say if you trust your intuition, 8 out of 10 times you'll be right. It guides you. Your intuition guides you, and it's part of you. It's part of your spirit, your body, and your mind. It's a collective. To feel like that gut feeling or that intuition feeling, that's you. So if you feel like you're not at the right place at the right time, you better get out of there. I have missed so many things that could have been extremely problematic for me. I've never been arrested. I've never been to jail. I've never been here or there. No. I've always just kind of like trusted my intuition. Says, I'm not supposed to be here right now. Let me get out of here. This is going to be trouble. It's kind of like that time when, if you guys watched my Amber Heard Johnny Depp reading, I had watched Aquaman and I saw, Amber Heard on the screen, and I said, I don't know who this girl is, but she's gonna be in a lot of trouble, like legal trouble. So she a year later, 2 years later, she's in a lot of legal trouble, So trust your intuition, even if it's not for yourself, maybe if it's for like your mom. Yeah, existence. Some of you are trying to find your life path, your purpose. And it's okay to have a belief in a higher power for that. How beautiful that is. Some of you guys are blossoming, and some of you guys are so psychic and big manifestors that you guys have a lot of doors and opportunities opening up for you. There are doors, opportunities, and just a lot of things happening in your life that you don't even know where to turn. You're just like, how did I get into this school and that school and that school and that school? I don't know which one to pick, and then that's when you use your intuition. Some of you are gifted are athletes. I'm getting strong athletic vibes right now. So some of you guys are athletes, football players, baseball players, lacrosse, rugby, whatever. And you use your intuition to win or to strategize. When you strategize, that's also using your intuition. When you're a musician, which I'm very well aware of as a musician myself, like, you use your intuition at some point where you get it, like you'll get it. And it's almost like I don't know why, but it's gonna be this way. I don't know why, but I feel like I should do this, or I feel like I should throw the ball to that guy, or I feel like I should, and it's just a feeling, and it's just a strong push, right? So yes, you can be a Christian. If you feel like people are being critical, I want you guys to just take a step back. Some of you guys shouldn't. I believe in going to church. If you guys want to go to church, feel free to do that. That's your right, as an American, and that's your right to be able to live your life freely. But I'm also saying that some of you may also want to, consider kind of stepping back from church. Some of you guys work a lot for the church, and it's exhausting. I know that. And the pay at churches aren't that great anyway. So you might want to just take a step back, invest in yourself, right? It's okay to give glory to God. You can give glory to God in yourself. We are the church. It's not a building. The church is not a building. The church is not the sanctuary. Our bodies, our minds, and our souls, that's the sanctuary, right? That's us. So just, if you are feeling depleted, tired, if you're maybe giving too much of yourself, just take a step back, invest in yourself, focus on the things you need to do, compartmentalize, and enjoy the ride. Some of you guys who just graduated, congratulations. Enjoy life. There's going to be ups, there's going to be hills and valleys, hills and valleys, hills and valleys. I mean, that's just the totality of life. Even a psychic would know that. I can't tell you that life is going to be easy breezy and you're going to end up being successful at the end of the day. You can be successful at the end of the day, but you have to focus, right? Also, if you have psychic abilities, you may want to just take a step back from a lot of people, a lot of the noise, maybe too much social media or video games or stuff like that. Take a step back and just listen to your inner voice for like 15 minutes a day, 10, 15 minutes a day. The best time is when you wake up. So that is it. And just let go of outcomes, let go of how things are going to work out, and just kind of find yourself again, find yourself. All right, second question. What is it like to be psychic? I'm going to use my tarot deck again to kind of help me, guide me through this. What is it like to be psychic? And one of my first videos, which is all the way from like February, that I did in February, like when I started this channel, being psychic is great. I've had 2 psychics tell me that I had abilities before I actually believed that I had abilities. I grew up Christian, Catholic school, while going to a Baptist church. That was intense. That was an intense time for me. Participation came out. I was involved in a lot of organized religions and change. I was involved in a lot of organized religion and in a lot of friends and family who were part of that, and there's nothing wrong with it. My family, when I see this, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, when I see this, it was, I see my family in this. My mom, my dad, my brother, and me. And I see we lived in a very traditional home, in a very traditional home, Asian home, very family oriented. And when I moved away, it changed a lot of things about myself. It changed a lot of things. Like, I figured out a lot of things about myself that no one else has. And while my family was complete for a time, there was a part of me who felt incomplete, Maybe I was doing a lot of things for my family. Maybe I was giving a lot of my time in service to my family and not in service to myself, and not taking care of myself. I didn't understand what a spiritual life was. I thought spiritual life was memorizing Bible verses and, that was it. But I realized that with time, first of all, you have to be ready. Yeah, flowering, wow. And dream. You have to be ready to accept your abilities. You have to be extremely 100% ready. This is who I am. This is part of me. And it's kind of like, I guess it would be kind of like coming out of the closet, so to speak, but I'm more of coming into myself. I had a lot of confusion, in my teenage years. a lot of confusion. I was in love with a girl. I didn't know what that was about. I was in love with a guy. I didn't know what that was about. There was so much going on that I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to like control it, because it was it was controlling me. I wasn't controlling it, and so I would be the one getting vivid dreams. I would be the one getting messages, intense messages, and not just vivid dreams. I would get lucid dreams and prophetic dreams. For example, I was 14 years old when 9/11 happened, and I had just started high school. I predicted, I had a dream of 9/11 happening 2 months prior to it happening. My dream was the buildings were on fire and it was just a black sky, like night. It almost looked like a night sky, but it was just black, like dark. And then it was just like burning, like I could just see profusely the fire and the explosion that would happen. But I just, I wrote it down in my notebook, and it happened. It happened in a dramatic and drastic kind of way. So that was a big one. And I didn't know how to control that. You can't control when you have psychic abilities and you see doom and gloom gonna happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. To me it sucks. It really does, because I feel the intensity of it. I see and feel and sometimes hear the intensity of it, and you can't do anything about it. For example, in on my other videos, I told you that I predicted 10 years ago that Russia would invade Ukraine. I felt that intensity. I felt that intense pain, hurt, explosions, just, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing me as a small YouTuber, right, just shuffling tarot cards. There's nothing I could do about it. Sorry guys, I have allergies. Okay. And it's that part of having psychic abilities it sucks. It sucks. Totality. Trust. You have to be ready for it, for good or for better or for worse. If you're married to your abilities. And you just have to understand that it's just a part of you. Rightness. Yep. Patience. Patience is a karmic lesson. We live in a microwave, let's get it done now society. Very in the moment. We live in a very greedy and just let's do it now kind of society, and things take time. Things take patience. Time is a human construct, you guys. I had to wait to figure out that I had psychic abilities. I didn't want to admit to it all of my 20s. All of my 20s. Even from my teenage years, till the time I was 31. I'm 35 now. I I didn't want to believe in it. I didn't want to think about it. I would see apparitions. I didn't want to think about it. I would see visions in my head. I didn't want to acknowledge it. What scared me? I was scared a lot because I didn't know what I was seeing. And it's okay, you guys, if you see things that scare you, because it's part of your ability. It's part of your mind. It's part of your ability. It's part of your mind. It's part of your thoughts and understanding. You're not going to understand what being psychic is like right away. Even if you have abilities, you're not going to understand it right away. It's going to take time, and it's going to take almost a lifetime to really understand why you were given a gift to read tarot, to read people, to do what you do. It's going to take time. Yeah, projections. Some of you were given the gift by a parent or a grandparent. It passed on. Some of you are telepathic. That's also a form of psychic. So psychic is a broad term. You can see things, feel things without any kind of knowing, right? Or you can send messages telepathically. And politics. I feel this card right now because almost all of my 20s, I was living this life where I would put a smile on and like, hi, hello, right? And just, but it's like the inner part of me was very, it wasn't seedy like this guy is looking like, but it's more of like, there's part of me that I'm effing up. I'm fucking up right now because I'm not myself. I'm doing what mom and dad want me to do. Right? I'm doing what they're telling me to do. And I lose a part of myself. I lose a painful part of myself in the process. And to be able to know that I do have abilities, that I do have skills. When pigs fly, you guys. It gives me like kind of a sense of hope. Courage just came out. A sense of courage, a sense of hope, a sense of, you almost have to be vulnerable with yourself when you experience your psychic abilities. You have to be vulnerable with yourself. Friendliness, yeah. You have to be friends with yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to be there for yourself. If your church isn't there for you, be there for yourself. If your friends aren't there for you, be there for yourself. I would actually kind of think about who your friends are if they're not there for you. If your family isn't there for you, be there for yourself. When you have an ability like psychic abilities, you have to be friends. You have to have that relationship with your ability, right? You have to understand that this is part of me, accept it, and not just say like, oh, I'm a psychic witch or something. It's more of like, okay, I do have this gift. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, right? But I have to understand that for better or for worse, I have this gift, and that I can't let it control me. I have to control it, right? I have to control it. So if you get a rush to do things impulsively, or if you get a rush to do things just going after things, just know that let things kind of happen for you gradually. I have seen visions. I have seen dead people, like that Sixth Sense movie. Yeah, like the reason why that movie, like I will never, like I saw that movie once and I will never watch it again. Because when I watched it, it was so real to me. And I'm like, it was so real to me because a lot of things that happened in that movie was happening at probably the same time that was happening to me. So learn how to control your emotions, learn how to control your energies, learn who you attach yourself to. And you don't have to give yourself away too much to others. If you're an empath, you're going to feel a lot of energy from other people. And I want you to know, experience. You have to experience, you have to kind of grow with it. Grow with your intuition, learn to trust yourself, right? I mean, trust came out in 2 readings, right? Trust. You have to learn how to trust without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not saying you're always going to get it right. I'm just saying you have to trust. If you feel like someone's is not going to do right for you, let it go. If you feel like this guy is not for you, or you're dating someone and you're like, this guy is just not it, let him go. If you are in a breakup, or going through a breakup, or going through painful times in your life, clinging to the past and maturity. Some of you guys are street smart, very street smart. Some of you guys want to open businesses, start businesses, open businesses. I don't know why I'm getting pastries. Some of you guys are bakers, maybe want to own a pastry shop or a dessert shop. I don't know. But it's all part of your growth. It's all part of your maturity. And we experience different people in different ways. We experience love with different people in different ways. We experience hate from different people in different ways. But just know that you are you, and the part of who you are that is psychic, that has abilities, take control of it. Don't let your abilities control you. You control your abilities, right? You control your universe. You control your own economy. You control your own life. You control it's you. It really is everything that's happening in your circle. It's all you. You have to control your impulses. I remember when I was in high school, I would be getting into, I know I don't look like it, but I got into a lot of fights. I was a fighter, like fight, cussing people out, fighting. And, growing up in New Jersey, I grew up in New York City, and then I went to high school in New Jersey. Compromise. Again, I was a fighter, and I didn't know why, but I was actually fighting with myself. But again, like what I said, compromise and the master. Master your abilities. Walk into your abilities. Be open to your abilities. And then compromise. Say, okay, I know I'm not going to get everything in my life right. I know there's going to be things I'm going to have bad decisions about. I might have done things wrong. I might not get things right away, but I'm going to trust and I'm going to master my abilities. I'm getting a lot of telepathy here, you guys. Some of you guys can really just send messages like crazy. Alright, that is, give me one more card. I'm sorry, this is a 45-minute video. Yeah, intensity and rebirth. It might seem intense at the time. You might see things, don't dwell on it. Just, if you see them, if you see spirits, if you can hear them, just kind of close your eyes, just meditate, just kind of acknowledge them and say, I am not here to disturb you or bother you. I'm here for peace. But the most important thing is to accept it and to grow with it. You're going to almost be reincarnated when you step into that role of believing in your abilities. You're going to almost feel like you're a new person. You're a different person when you get into a state of rebirth. So if you guys are curious about your abilities, you can comment, like, share, subscribe if this resonated with you. And you can also email me for personal readings and all of that. So thank you guys. Happy Friday the 13th. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.